Hey guys, it's Crackathon, aka DM Cody. Before this video starts, I real quick need to tell you guys some things. First off, um, my water bottle was really loud and crinkly during this, so I drank out of it like 2 or 3 times. So during those parts, I had to adjust the volume, make sure it wasn't too loud, but it does kind of overpower whatever anyone is saying at those points. The other thing is that there was a big difference in audio levels between me and Timothy. Timothy's mic was constantly trying to cut out, but mine was working absolutely fine, and I was recording with both my XSplit microphone setting as well as I believe the Hangouts recording my audio. So my audio is really loud. There's no echo, so I don't know if that is the case, but it was very loud compared to Timothy's microphone. I turned up his volume to 200%. That's as high as I could turn it up. And I turned my volume down to around 40%, but we didn't record separately. So the main problem there is that because we weren't recording separately, I had to split the video into chunks based on who was talking and adjust the audio levels that way. But there are a few parts where I talk over Timothy by accident, and as a result, those parts are not balanced correctly. Like, I had to turn down the volume or else I would be overpowering, and either way you wouldn't be able to hear Timothy. It would just be really loud. So, very sorry for that. Very sorry. I will try to, in the future, record beforehand and make sure that I have our audio levels corrected and take a little more time with prep to set that kind of stuff up. And I will use a Nalgene bottle in the future instead of an actual plastic like bottle that you'd buy at a store for $1, so that I don't have the crinkling problem. And there was something else. I'll just try and be more prepared in the future. I wanted to use an actual like good overlay or like a fantasy map or something. I could not find anything good on the internet. I had no idea who I could possibly commission for an overlay for the stream. So if anyone has an idea of a, someone who might be good at graphic design, or if you're someone who's good at graphic design and you'd like to design an overlay, the podcast is designed for 2 people, but there is a possibility that we'll have to do this kind of thing again where we capture using Google Hangouts, in which case we should only be able to record one camera, and I'm not even sure if Skype will let us record our cameras separately either. So one overlay for 2 cameras and one overlay for 1 camera would be perfect. I'd totally be willing to pay you if you want to do it, or if you just want to do it as something nice, that's fine, but I'd much rather pay someone to do it because I don't want to gyp you. So that's everything. Enjoy the video. I think this turned out really well, and I hope you guys are enjoying the new channel. And make sure to check out the other 2 videos that I'll have at the end of this. So that's everything. Enjoy the video. And welcome to Behind the DM Screen. Today I am joined by the host of the Experience Points podcast, Mr. DM Timothy. Mr. DM Timothy, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Timothy Meyer. I am the one of the showrunners for Experience Points, which is a web series that's coming in 2015. You can check out our teaser online, but I'll do all that plugging stuff. I'm here with Cody today to talk about Dungeon Mastering and the art thereof.
Yes, and we're going to start with introducing your channel, which would be Experience Points. I don't think you guys have a custom URL yet, do you?
No, I don't think so. That's something to look into, probably.
You can go to your Google Plus page after you have like 100 views to get a custom URL. So you guys got 1,000 views, so you can easily get one.
Sweet, awesome. Yeah, you can find us on Twitter. You can find the teaser. You just search Experience Points in YouTube, and it'll probably come up. Yep.
All right.
Cool.
So what shows are you guys going to be doing? Just Experience Points, or?
So Experience Points is the main thing that we're working on. It's a 12-part web series that's coming out next year, and that's kind of the main for us. But we're doing a lot of sort of side content. So the big thing that's coming up in October, we shot an actual play adventure, a couple different cameras, and we're going to release that in parts over the course of October. It's DM'd by me. The players are the cast members of the show, and it's kind of a swashbuckling pirate adventure. Swine Before Pearls. That's coming out this month. So that'll be here. We're going to try to do some more live stream type stuff as we gear up to the big premiere in 2016. So
I tell you what, if you want to do pirate stuff and you want to do pirate ship battles, look into Pirates of the Spanish Main. Because I used to be hardcore into that. I dug up all my ships recently. They were made of this like plasticky stuff. They came on cards. You punched out the parts and you assembled little models of ships. And it was amazing.
Okay,
you still use the cards to like measure movement lengths and stuff. You roll dice for cannon attacks.
That's cool because that's actually my next campaign is going to be kind of a nautical 16th century pirate theme. So maybe I'll look at that. Pirate theme.
Yeah. I have just about every kind of thing they released except for the Kraken they had, which was like a hazard. So ships could sail around. You used one card as your home island, and that's where all your ships started off docked. And then basically you would put little islands around with gold doubloons on the bottom, on top of them actually, and they would be face down. So there's a number on one side, but the side that's shown is a gold doubloon. And then your ship could go in, you could dock, you could explore, and then you could pick up gold and bring it back. You could have a little fortress island that could fire off cannons at passing ships. There's all sorts of stuff. I say just try and find a bunch of booster packs online, open them up, and assemble them yourself. Because otherwise, they are very fragile when assembling, and they are also very fragile when you're getting them mailed in. So if you're taking off one of masts, which is a main combat thing, make sure you wiggle it out. Don't just pull it. I've broken and ruined a few ships that way.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta be very delicate with it. But it is very fun. I played it all the time as a kid.
That's totally up my alley.
Yep. So, the Experience Points teaser, I just want to talk about this real quick because I was blown away by the teaser.
Hey, thanks, man.
The production values were incredible because you were constantly showing different camera angles and stuff, and I thought, every D&D podcast I watch is either a bunch of people on different computers around the world using Roll20, or it's people sitting around a table like for our show, where we have like maybe some music in the background, but usually there's very little production value in these shows. And I was very impressed to see some of that.
I appreciate that. That was one of the big goals. Was that like the trick with the show is that it's scripted, and we're trying to approach it a lot more like a TV show as opposed to an actual play. But at the same time, we don't want it to feel like every single time the D&D gets depicted, mainstream pop culture is always just stereotypes. It's nerds in mom's basement eating Cheetos, good pimples, all that stuff. We wanted to take the authenticity you get from an actual play show, right? And try to streamline it down. Like, okay, but this is a 20-minute experience. You can sit down and watch it like it's a TV show, as opposed to sitting there for 4 hours and like all these people have all these inside jokes and you're not sure what's going on. Those are very like impenetrable, but they're very authentic. You wanted to take that authentic sense of this is what really Dungeons and Dragons is actually about, but then present it in a much more palatable format. It's only 20 minutes, just like a TV show, right?
I'm going to turn up the media volume a bit because I'm not sure how loud it's registering you.
Oh, okay, sure.
So, because your microphone keeps trying to crap out, and I'm like, please, don't die while he's talking about the cool stuff, all right?
She's an old machine, so
yeah.
It makes sense.
So, I guess next up is the icebreaker. So, I figured we could do something just to break the ice.
Sure.
So, my idea was, you've been doing this thing on Twitter called #DungeonCrawl.
Dungeon Crawl, yes.
Yes, I was wondering what that is. Like, is everyone who participates, like, in a party, or are they all on their own, and so many other things?
So, it's definitely been something that we've been kind of experimenting with. We want to just kind of throw it in the water and see what would happen. Basically, if you don't know, the way it works is at certain times, we'll just tweet it. Like, we'll tweet an image. You're standing in a 25-foot room with a fire pit in it. What do you do? People reply, and we just kind of walk them through this dungeon. So I have this little dungeon that I've set up over here, and I'm applying to people. The way it works right now, we were doing it on Twitter, and everyone was kind of doing their own thing. Some people would sometimes chain off of each other and say, like, oh, I pick up the thing that this guy found and try to open doors or whatever. It went pretty well. People were excited about it. Going forward, we're going to try to like reformat it. If you're sort of having a problem where we're just having so many tweets, just for like an hour a day, or about once a week, we just clog everybody's feed because of the way we were doing it. So we're thinking about moving it forward and doing more of a party theme thing where people will group up, or maybe we'll do something in the chat room. We're not quite sure. But we had a lot of response, both positive and negative, to the amount of tweets that we had. So we're trying to figure out going forward, but it honestly was just something we kind of experimented with. We wanted to get people involved on Twitter. We wanted to try to people come out. We had one person say they had a really great time because it was the first D&D experience they ever had. And that was kind of eye-opening to us. Really? Like, you came here for this? Like, not that it's not cool at a certain level, but it's, it's Twitter, browser, dungeon crawl. Like, it's pretty the pale invitation to actually take that.
Yep.
So I'm glad people like it. We're trying to reformat it a little bit so it's not quite so bothersome to people who are not into it. But,
yep.
But yeah, that's kind of the goal. It's been fun. We did sort of a snake themed one our first time. Right now, we're planning to do at the end of the month a big long Halloween themed one. So I'm working on something.
Maybe something zombie themed, something
Zombies,
spooky.
Vampires. We're gonna see. We're not sure what we're gonna do yet, but I'm working on it right now, and that should be coming out towards the end of the month. So keep your eyes out. #DungeonCrawl. Cool.
Yep, I was just silencing my phone. I was putting on Do Not Disturb and airplane mode. I didn't want to.
Man, I didn't really think about it because we didn't know how many people were going to play. We thought, like, oh, we'll do quotes. That'll be cool. So that way we'll have more space. And we just suddenly realized when like 15, 20 people jumped in, we're like, oh boy, okay, this is a lot of people.
Yeah.
So totally, for those of you who stuck with us, we really appreciate your patience.
Yeah.
I looked at the feed, I'm like, oh no, what have we done?
Yeah, I'm just like, I thought about it. I was like, I could barely handle the 6 players I've got in my single D&D group.
Yeah.
This guy's dealing with like 30 people every week.
A little thorny. Right in the middle, it got pretty rough. It was fun. There was something kind of cool about it because it was Kate and I, who's the other showrunner. We're sitting there with 2 laptops open, like answering questions back and forth. Like, okay, what's behind the door? I remember. What's the DC for this? Like, it was just like weird. Like, I felt like I was at NASA or something, but Dungeon Master. Right? Everyone's looking at computers and pulling up stats and trying to figure stuff out. It was honestly a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, I gave you an offer for that book of mysteries.
Oh yes, totally.
I have several quest ideas that I have written down that have not been fleshed out yet. So if you want to take one of those and run with it and put your own spin on it, because
I'll see if I can figure anything out. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have like the basic idea written down. I can shoot you an email with, all right, this is the character that the players are escorting, and this is what's trying to take them out, and they don't know this, and just basically give you creative freedom. And just be like, here's the of kind of what it's supposed to be, but you can add it.
One of my favorite things to do for adventure design is to take somebody else's like hook, like roll one of those random hooks on one of the tables. And I'm like,
I've seen you do the RPG hook on Twitter.
Yeah, we do those a lot too. Yeah, those are ones we come up with. But it's fun to take other people's ideas, other people's seeds, and try to think like, this isn't an idea I would have, but how do I make this kind of thing that I want to run? So yeah, that sounds great. I would totally.
Yeah. I hope XSplit didn't just pick up on that. I turned up my volume. I had it down at 50 earlier when I was adjusting my audio levels, and I was like, wait, I used it at 100%. So it just heard. XSplit might have just heard a couple of dings. So sorry, viewers, if you heard that.
That's fine. Cool. So that's Dungeon Crawl.
Yep. So let's move on to the Q&A. If I can type Q&A. I was trying to remember where the ampersand key was. Alright. So, first one. What was your first experience with your game of choice, which I'm assuming would be Dungeons & Dragons?
Dungeons & Dragons for me. I played lots of other systems, but D&D is always the one that I keep coming back to. My first experience was, I'm sure similar to a lot of people's first experience. I was in middle school 15 years ago, and I was looking at I was in Barnes & Noble, and I just saw the 3.0 Player's Handbook. I had no idea what it was, didn't know what was going on, pulled it out. I was over in the fantasy section, right? And I just couldn't understand what the game was or how it was played, like just reading from the one book. And I bought it, and I took it home, and I was like trying to puzzle it out. I slowly, one by one, kind of tried to start to convert my friends into it. For a while, this is not necessarily true anymore, but for a while, everyone that I had known in my life that played it had learned it through me. So any like mistake or misunderstanding I had, I ended up passing on. So we were playing this weird bastardized version of D&D for like a long time. It's just me who was trying to puzzle it out. But yeah, I just remember being fascinated by the art and like there's just so much information. And of course, I didn't want to just sit down and read it cover to cover. I was like leafing through, like, what's this about? Like, It took
I'm the
us like
same
way
way.
too long. Yeah, right. Because it's just so
Yeah,
much
I'm just like,
information.
ooh, what's this about
Right. Oh,
player
well, what's a
races?
ranger? I
What?
want to be a ranger, and then flip
Yeah, I'm
around.
like,
Oh,
what's a
very good.
paladin? I always played a thief as a kid. I want to be a paladin. That sounds
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. Right. So it took me probably until high school to get like a real firm grasp. It was all just like half-assed D&D here and there. We'd play a little bit, but I was very passionate. I was just also very ignorant. I didn't want to sit down and just read the books, which was part of it.
Yeah.
That was kind of my first experience. I don't think it's not necessarily particularly exciting, but I just remember there being a long period of slow discovery. Like, I think we're playing this really wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, a lot of people had that. I was lucky because I came in third. A lot of people in first and second edition. That's just the way the rule books were. It just didn't tell you everything. You had to make them shit all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with me, it was less about that the rules weren't there, more about I just couldn't be bothered.
Yeah. All right. So next would be your first experience as a dungeon master.
Well, that
What
kind
was
of
that
goes
like?
hand in hand, right? Because like I was the first person I knew. I was the first like campaign that I ran. We used to play again in middle school years ago at lunch. We would play these really brief, like 20-minute, let's do a room of this dungeon, full of people everywhere, super noisy. Everyone's eating, like just from trying to like figure out, like, okay, well, there's two fire elementals in the room, and what do you guys do? You, someone's like, oh, I throw my water at them, like just the most stereotypical D&D experience you
Yeah.
can imagine. Eighth grade nerds during lunch, while everyone is arguing around them trying to figure it out. Those are the first like really sort of like low rent campaigns that I ran. But again, of course, over time as we read more and we got more into it, I started to get more involved. We started to play in more appropriate venues. But the earliest memories I have are playing at lunch and desperately trying to like grab people's attention away from their friends and lunch and all the commotion.
I used to play Pokemon on my DS with my friends during lunch in high
Sure.
school. And we
Mm-hmm.
just sit there, we trade Pokemon. Oh, you got a Snorlax? I need that so I can get a Munchlax. But I need a thing. And we just
That's so
sit there, we
fun.
just kind of play
That's
Pokemon.
Yeah, we would never allow it to have any kind of electronic devices at lunch. That sounds. I would love to play Pokemon at lunch, but that was not an option for us.
Oh man, I
Cool.
could go on all day about Pokemon. I learned to read with the Pokemon trading card game. I taught myself
Sure.
to read with the TCG.
Wow.
So what happened was I played with my older brother all the time, but I couldn't read, so he had to read all my cards for me. And obviously that put me at a disadvantage. So over time, I guess my brain just trained itself to be like, oh, well this is Staryu, this is his
Right.
slap attack, this does this.
That's
So
pretty cool.
I taught myself basic math and reading, and as a result, I've always read several grade levels ahead of people. Like, I
Sure.
think it was middle school, I was reading at a senior level in high school,
Wow.
and
Sure. Pretty cool.
by the time I got to, like, freshman year of high school, I was reading at a college level. So,
Wow.
I was always reading the big books but I always, like, had a fan for some of the kid books, like what was the two kids who solved mysteries and one of them had an eidetic memory and she took
Oh.
pictures with her
Oh.
mind of things to
I don't
solve
remember.
puzzles. I don't
Philosophy
remember what it
book.
was called, but I was a huge fan of that series because I love the idea of someone who takes pictures with their mind of
Sure.
crime scenes.
Yeah.
Like they took a picture of a dinosaur skeleton and cross-referenced that picture in their mind with a
Mm-hmm.
photograph postcard of the skeleton and found out the one of the
Sure.
bones was missing.
It was missing. Yeah. Fine. That's cool.
Yeah, I always thought that was cool. All right, third would be favorite questing experience.
Questing experience.
So
What do
that
you
could
mean by
be a
that?
quest you were on or a quest that you ran.
Okay. Um. Hmm. Well, I have been playing for a long time. I'm trying to think of something that sticks out. It's kind of a weird story. This is the one that always sticks in my brain. The last campaign I ran, which was the fourth edition campaign, we had a minor subplot. This is me running it. We had a minor subplot involving time travel. And at one
Oh,
point, yes, exactly,
yeah,
right.
that's
At one
a
point,
very dangerous thing to do right
very,
there.
very dangerous. And of course, some
Because one of your
paradoxical
players
stuff
can be
happens.
like, oops, I squished a butterfly. Oh, now you're not going to be born in the future. You're
Right.
going to disappear like Marty
More or
McFly.
less. So basically, what happened is that they had gone back in time, but kind of unaware they had gone back in time. The way that it works is there was this mist that came around when they were traveling in a specific place. They ended up at this wedding. At this wedding, they're kind of hanging out with the guests, and our character, who's sort of a Lothario, right, kind of a party boy, he's exquisite, and ends up having sleeping with one of the bridesmaids.
Oh no!
As you do, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like this is going to go in sort of a Philip J. Fry direction, but basically they later figure out like, oh no, we went back in time, went back 500 years back in time. He's an Eladrin, or a high elf for context. So when they come back to the future, they come back to the present. Much later in the campaign, they find out that there was this great wizard in the past that had, done all this research and had been this very important figure. And he basically discovered that that was his son that he had accidentally conceived 500 years in the past, and that this child who had grown up without a father basically is a bastard because his dad disappeared, right? Like, he ridiculed his entire life because where's his father? And like, he spent his entire life trying to grow up and become a lich so that way he could live long enough to meet his father who was from the future. And so, like, without knowing it, he created
his own son, and then his own son sought out to kill him as a lich.
Yeah, well, he sought out, to meet him, but that like his son's entire life happened and ended. You know what I mean? All before this character ever came to him. So he was summarily horrified, and we never let him live it down the entire time. It was just random chance. There's a small chance whenever a character. It sounds like this happens all the time, but when I have a PC will have sex with another character, I'll roll it. Like, there's like a 50% chance that she gets pregnant, right? Who knows? And he did. I'm like, but you happen to do it in 500 years in the past. So like, what are the ramifications of that? I always think about.
We have a gnome pirate in our group. This is probably one of my favorite characters in our group. His name is Mick, and he has a gnome pirate called Ander Redcap, who you guys will be seeing in the episode 0 of this podcast that we'll be releasing.
Cool.
And his character is a short ginger sexaholic gnome pirate. He said to me the other day, I just wanted to make a short ginger sexaholic version of myself.
As you do.
Yeah. And now we have a house rule that whenever he goes to the brothel, he has to roll for dexterity when he has intercourse, or for performance, and then I roll percentile dice to see if he catches a disease.
Yes, we do this too.
And I have certain penalties to his stats if he gets a disease. So his charisma goes down by quite a bit, for one.
Yeah, right.
And then I believe his strength and constitution go down by a little bit as well.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta be careful, man. That's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
but we have a werebear ninja. We have a werebear ninja in our group, and because he's a werebear, he's a true lycanthrope, as the story reasons are. He doesn't know his story because I created it for him, and I'm going to make a revealing quest for him that reveals his backstory. But because he's a true werebear, he can cure diseases over the course of 1 to 2 weeks. So we've got this inside joke that if Mick ever gets a disease, Kellen has to spend a couple of weeks curing him of his sexual disease.
Whatever this is.
I was just like, it fits so well together. Because I had just gotten my DMG one day in the mail. I was literally reading it as I was being driven over to the meetup place. And I told my friend Kellen, well, I mean, you can be erased from the monstrous manual that if you don't want to be like a human or a dwarf or something. And I still had only my introduction to the monstrous manual. I didn't have the full one. So I was flipping through. I was like, you could be a werebear ninja, just out of nowhere. I was like, that sounds cool. I was like,
that's it. I'm a werebear ninja.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well, I guess we need to roll your stats. But that was very funny. We've got all sorts of wacky characters, 3 chaotic goods, 2 lawful evils, and a chaotic neutral. Sure. And our chaotic neutral player, Allison, she plays a chaotic neutral dwarf barbarian very well. She was born to play it.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yep. So, I guess next would be, if you ever have played a character before, what's your favorite PC class and race combination? Or just either one, if you want to just go with favorite race you like to fool around with in class.
I've played every once in a while. I'm usually almost always the dungeon master, but every once in a while when I can sneak in there as a PC, I will, of course. I like to not have all the responsibilities in the universe. I tend to favor halflings. I like halfling rogues. As characters both that down. Basically, I play rogues and barbarians. Sort of 2 character classes that I'll play. And typically
quite opposite character classes right there.
Right, yeah. All the fun ones. Sort of in any combination. I've done halfling barbarians before, I've done dwarf barbarians before, I've done dwarf rogues, I've done halfling rogues. I've done other things. I tend to always think, can I get a rogue in here? should we make a rogue? Do we have a rogue yet? If there's not a rogue, let's try barbarian. And only when those two things are sort of filled, I'm like, okay, I'll play with you or whatever. But it tends to be halflings, tends to be rogues and barbarians.
Yep. I prefer. I'm not sure what. I have only ever played a pre-made human thief in second edition with the pre-made character sheet.
Sure.
And I do distinctly remember one time when I was visiting a place where my brother and I used to play miniatures games and card games all the time at this one building in a nearby town. And one day they were running a D&D session in the back, and I just come in because they're like, hey, we're looking for someone to fill in for this one guy who couldn't make it for the session, to fill in for his character. And I did very poorly because I did not understand. Basically, there was this all-powerful, like, sorceress, and she was wanting the one thing that she couldn't get for herself. And that was entertainment. And so, like, one of the guys was like, I'm going to take my bat familiars and have them fly around. And one of them was like, I'm going to juggle. And I was like, what if we just told her we had, like, an orb of all-powerfulness or something? And the DM was like, you're whispering that, right? I was like, no, I'm just out of character. No, you're saying it to them. And you start to vanish away. And I got, like, banished for the rest of the campaign. And I was just like... And I got the guy's character banished for the rest of the playthrough for the rest of the session. Yeah, I did very poorly there.
For all eternity.
Yeah. After that, I realized I'm not a very good player, and I work much better as a dungeon master, where I have characters I can expend.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Yeah. Oh god, I've never told anyone that story though. I was just like, this is a funny story. I'm gonna tell it. All right. I'm gonna try and keep on track for now.
Sure,
Favorite module? So, like, any book for the D&D, like, is it a questing module? Is it like a class module or something?
Sure, okay. That opens it up. My favorite adventure module, for sure, is Ravenloft. Not necessarily the campaign setting, but I really like the old Tracy Hickman module, the original one. And I actually really liked the 3.5 update that they did, Expedition Castle Ravenloft that they ran. I don't know, I'm a big Dracula fan. I like the original book, and so I think that I really like the sort of spirit that the module captures of that. I love the map. I love the big, it's this huge castle. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like these wonderful maps. It's like every single little wooden detail. It's just Strahd is such a great villain. And I don't know, Ravenloft for me all the time. As far as books go, though, I don't know. I used to have the old, because I started in 3.0, so I have fond memories of all the old weird 3.0 splat books like Call of the Wild and stuff. I remember campaign settings probably Dark Sun, although I've never played it. I really desperately want to. That's one of those ones. It's like really hard to get anybody to want to play because it's so punishing. It's like there's no water, and there's no steel, and there's no gods, there's no magic, right? Like it's this very harsh setting. No one's like, I don't want to play that. That's so terrible.
If there's no gods, how do you have priests?
Yeah, exactly.
The guy who always plays a cleric or a druid is like, I can't play my priest character, man.
The guy who plays the cleric can't play. The guy who plays the wizard really can't play without getting like arrested, right? Like there's like elves and dwarves and everything are so different. Like I like it, but no one ever wants to play it. It's so fun.
Yeah. I recently picked up the Eye of Pain and Eye of Doom campaign modules for 2nd edition.
Oh, okay.
I picked them up yesterday along with the Star Wars miniatures thing for like $4 each. That's how I got my my frequent buyer's card. And I just ordered the Eye to Eye campaign thing online, so now I'll have the full trilogy. And it's like really low to mid-level campaigning. So when we get through with these starter set campaigns, the characters should all be at level 5 if any of them are still alive at that point. Because 2nd edition is pretty brutal. And I figure, what's best for them as soon as they hit level 5? Beholders.
Why not?
Yeah, a whole hive of beholders trying to take over the world. Like, that's obviously the next step in their adventure.
I can't imagine they'll make it to level 6 after that.
Well, I mean, it says it's like levels 4 to 8, and the second one's level 6 to 8. So I figure, the first one says like the total level should be like 35. They'll be like level 30 or so. So But I mean, by
Okay.
that point, I'm sure they'll have picked up another follower of some sort. Our pirate has 2 goblin butlers that will probably help a little bit.
Yeah, the old second edition thing where you get cohorts, right? And people
Yeah,
just follow you around.
and he can have 2 more followers. There's this kobold that's been running throughout the campaign so far, the 2 practice campaigns, and he's tried to rob the players twice. And my gnome pirate's first reaction to seeing the kobold miniature I pulled out during the first practice combat, I wish we'd recorded this. He holds it in his hand. He goes, "Oh my God, it's adorable!" And that was, for the rest of the time, he wanted to hug it so bad. And now I'm just imagining in this first dungeon, which he may or may not appear in, I'm worried they're going to kill all of his friends and then enslave him as Mick's personal pet.
Right, sure.
And I'm like, oh great, now I'm gonna have to give him stats and I'm gonna have to give him hit dice and stuff, and he's gonna die one day and he's gonna be just absolutely destroyed about it. I'm like, I really hope they kill this kobold now so that he does not become an emotional attachment later on. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I wish we could have recorded in that first session. So, I guess next is, what is your rarest game-related item?
My rarest game-related item.
It can be like a piece of paraphernalia. It can be like a really rare book that's still sealed in shrink wrap. It can be like a map or something.
I just moved. I don't have any of my D&D stuff with me, but I do have an old second edition DM screen that a friend of a friend had gotten signed by a guy before he died. So that's kind of the thing. It's old and tattered and torn up. Not very well.
Let me see
like
if I. Let me see if
this. Not sure if it's the starter set.
This is the screen I have.
Yeah, that's not the one. It's a different one. I remember it's got the back on the back. It's told second. And he had signed it at a Gen Con 80 something, 687. I don't remember the exact.
That's pretty cool.
I haven't looked at it on, but it's very cool. I wish I had it with me, but I did not have any of my DVDs and everything. Alas, fixed or didn't happen. What about you? What do you have?
Well, I went to Half Price Books the other day, and they had this big bag. I'm talking huge, full of D&D stuff. And I was like, oh, it's $10. I'll buy it. I have the list of what was included here. 13 Encounters books, 5 complete Encounters campaigns, one of which was actually Pyramid of Shadows, which is not Encounters.
Okay.
And 4/5 of the Keep on the Borderlands campaign for Encounters.
Nice.
4 Lair Assault books, 3 of which were not duplicates. A DM screen, fortune cards for Lair Assault, like a whole deck of them. A pack of character sheets that were still mostly shrink wrapped for Encounters, I believe, and a few sheets of tokens, one of which was like generic tokens and hadn't even been opened, but I opened it. And I popped out the tokens I wanted. But I got all that. I estimated it was probably a couple $100 worth of stuff for how rare the Encounter stuff is. And I got it for $10.
Wow. That's pretty legit. I should go up there and see the other house. Get extra stuff.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm not sure if I want to, while I'm at this center I'll be going to help me get ready for college and stuff, I'm not sure if I want to take the Encounter stuff and maybe start like a weekly campaign group there doing Encounters.
Good.
If I have the time for it. Because I gotta take like one weekend every month to drive back and on Sunday go and run a campaign with my group here in the area where I'm at. So I've got to be very busy with making sure I have campaigns for that group and stuff like that. It's a lot of, I already have to juggle a lot of stuff once I start going there. So, I don't know if I should do Encounters, but it seems like it'd be really fun. But the one book I'm missing for Keep on the Borderlands is $50 for a physical copy, the only copy I can find, or I can buy all 5 of them on PDF format, watermarked PDFs for $5.
Oh, go do that.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Because I was like, well, I want to get the last book so I can have it for my collection. I'm like, I'm too strapped for cash right now. $5 it is.
Yeah.
So, Plus, 3 of my 4 Keep on the Borderlands books are still completely shrink wrapped.
Wow.
So I think I'm going to keep them sealed and just use the PDFs for it.
Yeah, sure. That's awesome.
But yeah, I've got some pretty cool stuff lately. What else have I got? I've just gotten a lot of neat stuff. You'll be surprised what you can find at half-price books. Because
Yeah,
people
like
they just trade in stuff not knowing what it's worth. And half-price books is like, well, it's half-price books. If you buy something there and it's a book, it will literally be half price. They have an algorithm in their computer that automatically scans it as half the price of what it originally was.
Oh, cool.
So you find old books in there, no matter how old they are, they scan the barcode, and it becomes half the price it once was.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they had a Deities and Demigods book there for first edition, and I was going to pick it up the next time I went because I read about how it's a collector's item if you can find the one with Cthulhu, because Cthulhu was removed later on because of copyright issues.
Yeah.
I came back, it was gone. So someone must have known and been like, ooh. But I was like, that would have been such a cool collector's item, have Cthulhu available. Because like I have a dream of eventually moving to some geek central town and starting up a game store where people can like rent books and maps and miniatures and cards and stuff and play games just by renting materials and have like tables all around the store.
That's cool. Yeah.
So like if I don't already have a book or a miniature or something, I'll buy it for a higher price from the person selling it and it'll go into the renting inventory. But if I already have plenty of that item, then I'll buy it for a smaller price and I'll put it on the shelf for buying.
That makes sense.
I don't know how well it would work, but I think it'd be really cool if I did it in a Geek Central town. People could just, like a bunch of teenagers who don't know anything about D&D could come in, they could just rent some 5th edition stuff and be like, hey, we're playing with 5th edition and we're learning D&D and, you know, kind of help the next generation of Dungeon Masters get started.
Totally.
But that's a long time from now. I got a lot of stuff I gotta do before that. I guess next up is miniature brand of choice. So, like Bones, or do you prefer, like, from a specific game, like, do you prefer, like, the stuff from Wizards of the Coast, or...
All right. I don't play a whole lot of miniatures war game necessarily, but the minis that we use for our D&D game actually came from a company called Hero Forge. A friend of ours, one of the cast members in the show, Erica, is dating one of the founders of the company. And what they do is they 3D print custom minis. So you go on their website and you can design your mini exactly whatever specifications you want. It actually a really nice like different poses and weapons and armor and that kind of thing. And then they'll 3D print them. A little pricier that way because the personal touch, but it was a nice way to get very specific things. One of the things that bothers me about minis is I think that they tend to limit what the player's going to imagine. Like you say, okay, there are 3 kobolds in the room, for example, but you only have goblin minis. Put minis out that are goblins. People are going to look at them and refer to them as goblins and think about goblins in their head. I tend to use dice for monsters. I just have a lot of extra dice, and that way it's like, okay, these green squares are obviously abstract. But when you're talking about player minis, like again, you don't want to use like, okay, this is actually a girl, but my character's a guy, right? That problem.
Yeah.
That's why Hero Forge is really nice, because you can just get down to the tiniest, like down to like facial expressions and stuff. It's really very specific. So that's what we use. Again, a little pricier, but totally worth it for us. You can check them out at HeroForge.com. They're pretty rad.
Yeah. I made all of our PC miniatures out of Lego minifigure parts that I had.
Sure. Yeah, people do that a lot too. Like,
yeah.
Cool.
I made like all of our characters all by myself, and then like I let them edit what they wanted to. So like obviously Allison, our dwarf barbarian, her character has a beard because she's a female dwarf who doesn't shave, so she has a beard. Sure. Mick, our gnome pirate, has the one glowing green hook hand that I had. I only had one hook hand, and we put that on, and he's got like robes and stuff. He's got a thing called a man catcher, which I had these old Mega Bloks Knights, and they had one weapon in the set that happened to look just like a man catcher for him. So he was like, I'm putting that in my hook hand, using this little sword as a dagger. And
Sure.
I forgot to be charging him offhand penalties during the past 2 sessions, but hopefully I'll remember that once he starts using his man catcher. Because not only is he wielding it with his hook hand, but his right hand is his offhand.
Oh, sure.
So he's wielding it with his offhand hook hand. So I'm thinking that should be a bit of a penalty.
Yeah, I feel like that's at least good. Yeah, funny.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
cool.
uh,
Those are cool.
uh, final question before we get to the big one that we talked about that I forgot to put on the document. Do-it-yourself game projects. So I made out of plastic. I cut plastic, and I saw this on DM Scotty's The DM's Craft channel. And I made a custom gelatinous cube that's like 2 inches by 2 inches by 2 inches with hot glue and plastic. And you can, like, it's hollow on the bottom and on the inside. You could put it over miniatures, yeah. So instead of paying like $55 for a gelatinous cube miniature, I was just like, I'm just gonna make my own gelatinous cube. Because why not?
I've done some stuff like that. Nothing too crazy. The last campaign I had, like this campaign, ended up having a lot of ships in it. So I ended up making a lot of sort of three-dimensional cardboard ships because fourth edition has a lot of squares and grids you had to sort of figure out. So I had I ended up getting rid of them when I moved, but I had like a small armada of like different sizes of ships, and these are dwarven ships, and these are the elven ships.
Like pirate ships and stuff, sailing ships.
Yeah.
At first, I thought you said chips. The mic was trying to crap out.
Oh no, ships with an S.
Yeah.
I did those. I made towards the end of the campaign, there was sort of a big protracted kind of war section. I made a siege tower at one point. Again, just out of cardboard. It wasn't anything fancy, just to show sort of the different levels, that kind of thing. It's nothing. They don't look great, but they work well. Yeah. Right. So
if you ever
my girlfriend, speaking of the gelatinous cube, actually made a little dark mantle. I don't know if you guys know dark mantle. It's the little tentacle squid creature that hangs on the ceiling and comes down and drops down. That you could drop over a PC, right? So she had a similar thing. It was just wrapped construction paper that you could drop over. She never had a chance to use it. She made it, and then the monster never ended up showing up. She's constantly like, "Could we put a dark mantle at this adventure?" Like trying to find a place to use it.
Yeah, the only thing we have like that in second edition is piercers, and they're just stalactites that fall down.
There aren't dark mantles in second. No, I wonder when they started.
I can check my monstrous manual.
Oh, it's fine. I don't have to look right now.
I figured I should.
Okay.
Let's solve this dispute. I'm sure that there got a little bit of echo there where I unplugged my headphones because my monstrous manual was not there. So it's called a dark mantle.
Dark mantle is one word. Yep.
Stargans. Dracolich. So let's go to D.
Oh, yeah. The dark mantle first appeared in third edition. Interesting.
Yep. Death Knight is the first thing, then Deep Spawn.
Okay, so they're actually really recent. I thought that they were older.
Yep.
Good.
I've got my core rulebooks just tabbed to all hell.
Yeah, sure.
I have them like alphabetized with tabs, and then I've got like tabs of, oh, this is important, and oh, I'll need this for this campaign, and I'm just like, I'm a little bit too organized for how new I am to D&D.
I can't do it. I can't put tabs on my books. It was like, I don't want to.
Oh, these are kinds that peel right off and leave like no residue.
I just feel like it looks, I don't know.
Yeah, it does look a little weird. Yeah, I never liked the look of it, but I'm like, it's more functional than fashionable.
Totally.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta sacrifice fashion for function.
I get that.
Yeah. Alright, the last one is advice for starting DMs. What's the kind of stuff you wish you knew when you first started?
The stuff I wish I knew. There's a lot of like little tiny fiddly things that I could talk about. Actually, if you want to know more specifics on our Twitter, we always do a daily #DM tip. So if you want to look into that, go ahead and search that. There's like a billion experience points tweets. But the big one that I always tell people, and this is something that took me a while to kind of realize was the point. I always tell people, don't sweat the rules. That sounds very obvious, but the point isn't to obey the rules to the letter of the law. The point is to get a bunch of your friends together and just laugh about something and have fun. Yep. Don't put the rules, have fun with your friends. So who cares? All that matters is that you make a ruling at the table right there. If someone says something you don't know what to do, you don't know what the answer is, make something up. No one is going to you're playing with a group of your actual friends, aren't just there to play them right? They don't really care what you say as long as you have consistency. So to me, it's always about making sure people are having fun and then worry about the rest. As long as people are having fun, it doesn't matter if your monsters got destroyed. It doesn't matter if the combat didn't go the way you wanted or the adventure is going off the rails. If they're still having fun, you're still achieving your goal. Don't sweat the rules is what I always tell people as like the primary thing. Once you get past that, there's little things you can do that can make your game experience easier or more fun or whatever it is. But the most important thing is just everyone's happy. Regardless, all the rest of that stuff is second, in my opinion.
Yeah. I always try and focus a lot more on role playing and less role playing.
Role playing, exactly. Yep. And not even necessarily that. I mean, people are having fun with the ROLL version, but that's fine, right? Like some people are there to play the mechanics of it, as long as they're doing it that way and they're enjoying themselves. What the mechanics are doesn't. That's why there's so many different systems, so many different things. They're all still based around the idea of 5 people sitting down and having fun for an hour. Right?
Yep.
Totally. Don't sweat the rules, man.
Yep. All right. Well, that is pretty much the end. So now we're going to plug you furiously.
That sounds very dirty.
Yes, I know. I tend to sound so. So first off is going to be your channel. It is Experience Points, is it not?
Yep, we're called Experience Points. You can find us on YouTube. Right now, there's just the teaser up there, but we would love it if you give that a watch. We're going to have some more stuff coming up in the rest of the month, as well as we're going to start to appear on some other people's live streams as well. So we can we'll probably post links and likes and stuff on the channel there. So go ahead and subscribe. We would love it.
All right. And then any social media that you want to plug, like Twitter, Facebook.
Basically just the Twitter. We have a website, but that's not.
You can plug the website.
Sure. Website is I believe
it's already on the screen.
Cool.
Yeah, it's right under you.
Yeah, Experience Points. You'll find it.
Yeah, it's xpwebseries.wix.com/experience points.
Exactly. So it's got some basic information about the actors and the teaser and what to expect. But the main way to get in contact with us and follow us is on Twitter. We are at xpwebseries on Twitter. And it's called Experience Points, and we tweet all kinds of stuff. We'll tweet sometimes memes, or we'll tweet DM tips or RPG hooks. We do dungeon crawls there. We do all kinds of things. So go ahead and check us out on Twitter. That's the main way. Send us a message, you whatever you want to get in contact with us. That's the fine. Yeah.
And then newest videos, podcasts, whatever you got that's been released.
The Slime Before Pearls adventure will be coming out in October. Kate and I, the other showrunner, are going to start appearing on the Min-Maxers show, which is another live stream. We're going to do kind of a once a month. We're going to appear on their show as guest players. And we're looking at Encounter Roleplay just reached out to us, which is another live stream channel. They do like 24 hours of straight gaming. I think we're going to try to get the party one shot in there as well. Another 3 hours. So otherwise, the actual show itself is coming out next year, probably in spring or the summer. We're going to shoot it in January, and then obviously there'll be more information for that. But if you subscribe or follow us on Twitter, you'll be right there when we release it. So,
yep. All right. That's it.
Well, thanks for watching, everybody.
Yep. Thank you very much. Make sure to go check out Timothy and the rest of the group on Experience Points. There should be 2 other videos releasing with this one, episode 0 of the Venture Cast, as we are calling it, and a little Magic the Gathering video for you guys of me and Mick playing some gimmick decks. I might have to tell you the name of the deck. It is called Counter Hell.
Oh, God.
That's my deck.
See, I'm a green mage, so the idea of that just it like rocks me to my soul.
15. It was originally 15 counter spells with the original version of this. It has like 13, 14 counter spells in the final version. I play tested it over the weekend, but just imagine some beefy walls in there, some spirits with some stuff to beef up tokens and spirits, and then just a crap ton of counter spells.
Nope, won't ever play with you. That sounds nasty. Nope.
I have 2 other variations of this deck that I want to make videos for, a blue-green version and a blue-red version. Imagine what the blue-red one's going to be like.
I hate it already. It's the worst. I mean, like, how much work could it possibly be? I guess it'd be, damage, right? Like, straight to me.
Yeah, burn spells and counter spells. That's what I want to focus on with the blue-red one. The blue-green one's gonna be a Simic kind of thing, because I love Simic. That was around when I stopped playing was Dragon's Maze.
Sure.
So,
Cool.
I have plenty of Simic stuff, and I really want to integrate that into a blue Artifice deck if I can.
That sounds great. Well, thanks, Cody, for having me on the channel. Everybody should check out his videos. It sounds like his party is full of just colorful, wacky characters.
Yep.
Love laugh. Right?
Oh, you guys will love the first episode. Thank you for being on the show.
Of course.
And I hope we can stay in touch. Maybe you can come on to, like, maybe we can get some other DMs together and have, like, an online podcast where a bunch of DMs just talk about what they've been up to lately.
Yeah, I mean, we're always here, man. Go ahead and reach out to me. I'm always cool to do stuff.
Yep.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, I am ending the broadcast